Hello, I'm Alex Mansfield, the host of Manny Talks Shooting, and welcome to another episode. This is the shooting podcast where I talk to individuals all across the shooting industry. We'll talk competition, self-defense, concealed carry. If you like this content, check out our YouTube channel, Manny Talks Shooting. And without further ado, let's get to this episode. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Manny Talks Shooting, the shooting podcast where I talk to whoever I want to within the shooting industry. But first, let's talk about today's sponsor. The only sponsor, really, of the show has been Go Fast, Don't Suck. So go over to gofastdon'tsuck.net, go get a match jersey, go get some dry fire targets, go get a hat, because I think you got some new hats and new colors, because everyone's got to match everything, accessorize like you want it, because we're all divas and down in our deep hearts. So go check out Go Fast, Don't Suck. Tell Bill I sent you. Maybe he'll give you a cute little winky face in the box. I don't know. I can't promise anything. So without further ado, let's get to today's guest. Today's guest is Christina Baker. Christina, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you?
I am fantastic. It's a great June 1st, if anyone actually cares when these get recorded, because somebody does.
Of course.
So, Christina, we've been chit-chatting a little bit via power of the internet, because, the internet's in the power of our hands, and Instagram is our friend. So we've been chit-chatting a little bit, and been about time we brought you onto the show. So thank you for coming on.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. So for who doesn't know who you are, who is Christina, and how did you get into shooting?
Okay, well, my name is Christina Baker, and I am a travel ER nurse by profession. Been traveling around the country for about 8 years. And in the midst of that, I went to an IDPA match. I only got into guns because I bought a Glock 19, because that's what I decided I wanted to go with to defend myself, practice self-defense. Driving across the country, I have two nice dogs, so they wouldn't really defend me so much if things came down to it. So I needed to be able to defend myself. Bought a Glock 19, started training with some friends, and went to an IDPA match, a nighttime IDPA match that escalated to some 2-gun, shotgun, and pistol. Escalated to a USPSA match and 3-gun. And this was Iowa and South Dakota, by the way.
So there ain't nothing out there, though.
Yeah, right. It's quite a bit of difference going from ranges there to the East Coast, where there's neighbors by the ranges and there's noise complaints and things. I'm that was hard to deal with. But so I shot USPSA, and if I wasn't hooked already, the USPSA match was by far the most fun I had shooting. And now everywhere I go, I find the local club and I shoot. But now things have escalated significantly more, because now I go everywhere. I'm shooting generally at least one major match a month. Last year I shot 3 nationals, only be shooting 1 this year. But I am now not just going to new clubs when I move somewhere for work. I am going around the country to shoot majors. Not usually too much further than Texas, but of course nationals in Colorado this year. And so this is quickly taking over my life.
Well, as it does all of us. I think we all get the bug, and then we just start dumping money into guns, gear, travel expenses. Yeah, it's just a way of life, right?
Yes, it is very much a way of life.
So you said you're a travel nurse by profession. What made you want to be a traveling nurse?
So a lot of times when people leave their jobs, maybe period, or especially in nursing, kind of get tired of the politics at work. And I got enough experience under my belt. I was an ER nurse in Richmond, Virginia for 3 years. And I decided, and I was single, and I was like, you know what, let's do this travel thing. Let's hit the road. Went to Abilene, Texas first. Did a little bit of shooting, just in the range, and a indoor, 1-lane range. And then it was Iowa. I accidentally ended up there for 4 years. And then I really got going, and I did some pretty neat places, Montana, Wyoming, super gun friendly areas there. I actually didn't shoot in Wyoming though. I just bounced around all over that area, lots of national parks, even went to LA to visit my brother for Thanksgiving, Las Vegas, Utah, Yellowstone, all sorts of stuff. And then Maine, I consider Area 7 one of my shooting homes, or kind of like the shooting home. That's where I really started to grow as a shooter. And Maine, New Hampshire, and then I was in Virginia. That's where I'm from, is Virginia, but I shot very little there, but I did one contract there in 2020, and I did get to do a little bit of shooting there. And now Florida, and I love Florida.
Is it because it's God's waiting room, or is it because it's nice and warm all year round?
Nice and warm all year round. And the strangest thing about me liking Florida is I live in Miami. So many people hate Miami, but I like the level of crazy. I work in Hialeah, which is 98% Spanish speaking Cuban people. I like Cubans. They appreciate freedom and things like that. So we get along good.
I've only been to Miami once, and that was to go on a cruise. And if you remember, Scott, it's been, was it 2014? Yeah, January 2014, I went on a cruise. And the day we were in the air was that Fort Lauderdale shooting.
Oh.
So everyone was all freaking out, like, where are you? Where are you? I'm like, we're in the air as this is all going down. So then we get out, we're getting off the plane, get our luggage. We think, oh, this must be normal for, like, you know, Miami security at the airport. No. Then we figured out when we turn our phones on, it's like, oh, that's happened. Cool.
Yes. Yeah. People come down on holidays, and your risk of getting shot in Miami on a holiday weekend is like exponentially higher than any other days of the week.
Yeah.
So people who live here just stay inside for holidays. You know, long lines, bad. That's dangerous. I don't know. It's kind of a joke, but also kind of serious at the same time. But either way, the amounts of people that flock here during the holiday, it's funny. You'll go out, and the chances of you meeting somebody from or even living in Miami is very slim. Like, you start talking to the person next to you at the bar or something like that, and it's for sure somebody from out of town. So
yeah,
it's melting pot like that.
Yeah. So you've been to all these different ranges in different states. What was your favorite range?
It would have to be Pioneer Sportsman in Dumbarton, New Hampshire.
Why's that?
I would have to say that's my closest shooting family there. I had a big mentor there, Pete Gilbert. He did private security for state police for the governor. Really good shooter. He's an A-class open shooter, and he actually took me and my friend Devin under his wing, and he taught us, you know, stop doing this that's dumb and start doing this. And just kind of appropriately helped us progress. And then I got a training buddy, my friend Devin. So having somebody to keep you accountable, having somebody to go to the range once a week with and run drills and watch each other and being able to correct each other and what we're doing, and then saying, hey, how was your dry fire this week? What are you doing? And actually dry firing, that helps you grow too.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Now you're talking about what, Devin McManus, right?
Yes. Yeah, she's a pretty awesome person, and we connected. So that and super friendly range, I started working matches there. Actually got significantly more involved with that, became an RO, and being on the range for, say, Area 7, they've hosted Area 7 several times, or even Live Free or Die is a level 3 or level 4 IDPA match. It is a huge, big to do. You know, IDPA, I definitely never want to work one again, because once you're super big in USPSA, it's like everybody does the same thing, just whether they do it faster or not. It's super repetitive if you're working a stage, but helping to build it is cool. I mean, so many movers and props and some theme, like one was like 80s TV theme and one was Western theme. It's just fun. But being involved in that and the camaraderie there, and people are just, good, shooters are awesome people generally. I mean, generally we have similar views on things and tend to not be like big criminals or anything, so a little less sketch there, and just friendly. Everybody wants people to do better. Like, if you're going to do better, that's better competition for me. And if somebody does well, there's just nothing like the shooting community, and that's part of what gets you hooked, I think, besides competition and the fact that it's fun and a good skill. And the family aspect there was big. Just always seeing everybody, and the same people are there helping out all the time, right? Like, it's always the same group. I mean, new people come, but just you get to see the same people, so you get to know them, and it's good times.
Absolutely. And it's kind of cool that your training buddy was Devin McManus. I hear that name a lot now because my group that I run around with at my local club, they've been able to serve under Devin at like nationals and whatnot. She was the CRO on their stage, and she knows her shit, that's for sure. From all the stories I hear, competitors trying to get their way, Devin doesn't. She knows her shit, that's for sure.
Yeah, she's super sweet too, but she will never cave on a rule. I can tell you that right now. There's no way. She is strictly by the book, which is what you need ROs to be. So she's perfect for it.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, I'll definitely agree that, the group camaraderie, especially maybe at the local level, who are always building the stages, they're every month building them, tearing them down. Well, that's kind of the benefit of here, at least. If we build them, we're smart enough, we make the other squads tear down the stages, because like we put them all up, y'all can tear them down.
100%. If you leave, we know who you are. Oh, you just left? Like, the exception, sure. But if you didn't set up and you don't say to help tear down, you better have like some kid that you have to go see's like game or something.
Exactly.
We will judge you.
Or it's the ones who pick up the brass instead of tear down.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. The brass chickens are like,
oh no.
Yeah. So that's okay though. So have you taken any, besides learning from Pete, have you taken any other formal training?
Yes. So my first major instructor was Mason Lane.
Oh, he's a sweetie, isn't he?
Oh yeah. Sweetie. Yeah, sure. He definitely is really good at challenging you, and he taught me being target focused. That was super mind opening. I was shooting production. Well, actually, when I first started training with him, I was shooting limited, and then production. But actually, so when I was training with him, I was only shooting limited.
And like a Glock, what, 34? Well, 35 maybe.
Yes, a Glock 35. I did that. And so that was kind of that platform is not something easy to shoot, I don't think. But I learned to shoot target focused, and that was huge. And pushing what you can do at 30 yards with iron sights. I mean, he's a great instructor, and he's constantly growing. I mean, you see him making drills of his own. He's really going to become a thing as an instructor. I think he's going to be one of the greats in my mind.
And he's definitely a lot wiser beyond his years.
Oh, he is an old soul. Him and Kaylee. They're some of my very close friends up there, part of that New Hampshire family for sure. And they're several years younger than me. Like, I don't know, maybe even 10 or something like that. But they are such old souls, especially Mason. I mean, he gets even like all the older references to like movies and music. It's just like, how do you even know this? It's like, like growing up shooting, I guess he's around older people the whole time. So.
Well, yeah, when you know the median age of like shooters is like 35 to, well, no, it's like 40 to 55.
Oh, it is? I didn't
Yeah.
know that. That makes sense. So from Mason, let's see, next, I did work with Steve Gilchrist as a friend. He is the director at SIG Academy. He brought me like immediately, like trained with him January 2nd, shot a match, and I was B-class production after that.
That's too cold to be shooting.
I went south for that match. I went to Florida.
There you go.
And then I feel like, yeah, I wanted to do instruction last year and it just did not happen. And I felt the pain of that. I did not train much. I shot tons of majors without a lot of training. Somebody's like, oh, go, just have fun. That is not nearly as fun. If you're not putting in like rounds down range, I mean, dry fire is good, but you got to have that live fire or like training on the range too.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a weird season. But this year I took a class with JJ. I took his advanced class, managed to swing in on that at OK Corral in Florida. That was awesome. I wish I could have been a little bit more prepared for that because I've been shooting PCC and I was like, I'm not bringing a PCC to class, right? Like I'm not doing that. So I shot carry optics for the first time. So that was just getting used to, I mean, if I had worked on that for maybe, I don't know, a month before and been shooting it, I would have been so much more prepared for that class, just, finding my dot and things like that. I mean, it wasn't too big of a deal. It just took a little bit of time to get used to some of that. So, but that was a great class. I mean, and it's totally transferable any division you're shooting because it's so focused on movement.
You just didn't even want to be the one person who brought the PCC, right?
Yeah, nope. Yeah, no way. Not to mention you get so tired, like holding it, like all class. What? Like I don't have muscles like that. So, no, I did not want to be that person.
So if somebody else showed up with the PCC, then it would have been okay.
I think I would still have gone with pistol.
Fair enough.
A whole class of PCC. Now that's something I'm looking forward to here this month, actually. It just got organized. I just agreed to do this the other day. I am taking a PCC, 2-day PCC course with Shannon Smith.
Oh, sweet. Schmitty.
I've been wanting to take a class with him for a while. So, and PCC instruction is not super available. Actually, I forgot, I did get a half-day training right before Two Gun Nationals last year. I borrowed Brian Conley's F1 PCC, and I signed up for Two Gun Nationals. And then I did a half-day training with Joe Farewell because he is in Florida. So about 4-hour drive, I drove 4 hours up, trained with him for a day. I was like super, like not being used to PCC. I was pretty exhausted, but that was great training for the like little bit of cram session we got in there. And but that was the only official training I had in 2021. So I got training with Shannon coming up, and then I have a day class. I'm going to shoot Maine State with the Trident Armory guys, and the next day I'm going to fly out to Minnesota and train with Josh and Max.
Oh yeah, Josh Freilich and Max Leograndis.
Yes,
that'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm trying. I know you're not supposed to like take classes with too many people, but I think I'll pull the right things from all these guys. They're pretty top of the line people, so I don't think you can go too wrong there.
Exactly. Like honestly, Josh and Max are probably number one, number two in the world at shooting a PCC.
So there's that.
Yeah, I mean, you can't beat that. Even though one's a giant Minnesota lumberjack, you know.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, they're all champions, so that's and they've well, Shannon's been instructing a while, and JJ sure as heck has been instructing for a while now. I mean, I talked to a lot of people that, you know, were at my level, and they're like, and then I took a class with JJ, and then they start progressing right on up. And now they're some of the best in the world. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think if you're in this sport and you don't have JJ somewhere on your list of people to take a class from, like, I don't know what you're doing wrong.
Just come to Florida, or he'll come to you somewhere at some point eventually.
Yeah,
you like, I'm retired. I'm like, this is what retirement looks like. You seem pretty busy, man.
Yeah, from that 9 to 5 job, right?
Yeah.
So what made you want to switch to PCC full time?
So I got a slot at PCC Carry Optics Nationals last year. So I was shooting production, and I had to decide, okay, am I going to shoot Carry Optics, or am I going to shoot PCC? I didn't have either platform. I had no slide milled for an optic on any of my Glocks, and I didn't have a PCC. So this was a big debate. Every one of my close friends told me to do Carry Optics. And for some reason, I'm just like, that'll just be too much of an adjustment for me. I don't know why I thought that, or I'm just like, those dots go bad, and you know, it's just going to cause problems, or I just don't think I'll be totally ready for that. I'm like, but rifle, I'm like, I shoot 3-gun, you know, I can pick up a rifle and that'll be easy, you know, like I can shoot a rifle right now. I don't have to train on anything. I can pick it up and, you know, shoot alphas. Little did I know. So I went with PCC. I had 2 before I knew it, that I bought off friends, and little did I know how challenging PCC division would be. Not to mention, they were both builds, and they took a lot of time to find out what worked in them. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of range time, so I was shooting the wrong rounds. I didn't know you shouldn't shoot flathead rounds through a PCC. I shot area 8 with that first half of the day, and then I switched because it was just awful. Tons and tons and tons of malfunctions on almost all the stages, and that did not go so well. And then just other little things. I mean, I had malfunctions like half the matches. I did finally get it together for nationals, and I don't think I had a single malfunction. In fact, I had to actually learn how to not bump fire with my PCC, which obviously I'm not shouldering it hard enough. I actually shot it. I shot it the other day, and the first target was like, in my little like course of fire, was super close up, and I mean, I popped 4 into that thing so fast. It was just like, because my trigger finger has gotten so much faster since then, and I'm like, oh no. And then I shot at a steel long distance, like, bah, 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 bah. Oh my God. No, this will not do with the backup gun. I'm like, I got to do something else. So, so Mike Seifert shoots for Da Vinci, and he was seeing me at all these majors. I mean, I did, let's see, I think I first met him at area 8, and I mean, I shot Georgia State. I don't think he did either, but I don't know. I saw him at several majors, including nationals, and they needed a female to join the team. And so I got brought on with Da Vinci after all this, like all by myself shooting across the country, and I'm like getting super burnt out, and things aren't like going well with the guns, or I'm just like, I am just wasting my money and my time doing this. Sometimes it goes well and it's fun, and when it doesn't, now I'm on a team and with a platform that is fantastic. This DaVinci runs. Out of the box. There's no tuning or anything, and you just start shooting it. I broke that sucker in like 2,000 rounds, and not a single malfunction, like just right on the get-go. I think that's one of the biggest things with PCC is, same with open, right? Like, they're picky and they need to run. Otherwise, it's just, your life will suck on the range if your gun does not run.
Oh yeah, definitely. No one wants something that doesn't run, and then you just get frustrated. Then you want to throw it all away and be like, "I'm done with this."
Right. And I've talked to several people that are like, "Oh, it took me about a year to like fine tune my PCC for it to really run." I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" But this thing runs, and it's custom built. So I told you I was shooting my backup gun, and I decided, I'm like, this is not going to cut it. I'm like, I invest too much time and energy in this. I'm like, I'm getting another gun. So I called David up with DaVinci, and I said, I want to buy a backup gun. I had that in my sweet little hands within 48 hours. Who builds custom guns and gets them to you within 48 hours? Not saying like I had Dragon's Cup coming up, but who does that? It's like they got some pretty freaking good customer service.
Or he just knew you were going to want it and he just had it on the shelf, just like, it's waiting for it. She'll call.
Oh man, but now I have two. A gun can always go down. I'm not really worried about it, but gosh, you never want to show up without a backup gun, and then you shoot a different platform, and you're like, something's different, especially with that side charger handle. It's going to be a little bit weird, at least for a little while, shooting a gun without one. If I need it, ideally you don't touch it, but except for when you start with the unloaded start or something. But
now, does the DaVinci have both? It has the side charger and the traditional charging handle, or just the side charger?
It's both. You just don't mess with the charging handle. I guess it just comes with the upper.
Yeah, it's got to fit. It's got to fill the hole, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
No, those do look pretty cool. I don't know. I think it was probably Mike. I was listening to podcasts that Mike was on, and then he wouldn't just shut up about that thing. So, but that is pretty cool. The DaVinci is pretty neat.
Yep. Good company. Small. I like the fact that it's a small company, so you can really get to know, the family that's involved with it, and kind of be part of it. So once again, good camaraderie.
Are you using Glock mags with like Terran extensions, or do you get like MBXs or something else?
So I have I bought a real big stick at Two Gun Nationals, an MBX mag, so a 56 rounder. That I cannot use anymore. I've had it less than a year, and it's definitely been responsible for malfunctions. I went just to test fire my gun at Dragon's Cup, and it was like every few rounds of malfunction. I'm like, dear Lord, please let it be the magazine. And so you get that like nice uneasy feeling when you're up to shoot, and you're like, okay, I think it was a magazine. I've retired that now, and the gun ran great, but it gave me problems at major match before that too, in South Carolina State. So I don't know what's up this spring, but a spring shouldn't go bad in a year. But otherwise, I have Terran Tactical, and I have the MBX mag that went back is the metal Glock magazine. But the actual Glock ones that I have for MBX, that magazine's run good, and the TTI is fine. But once you get used to having like 40 something rounds in your magazine, you literally never have to think about how many rounds you're shooting ever. It's pretty nice.
And I bet you've got a couple of 140s just laying around in your bag for the random occurrence that you need to do a reload.
Oh yes, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
We all gotta always have some of those.
Oh yes.
So what currently drives your shooting?
What do you mean by that?
Like what makes you want to keep shooting, like keep pushing to try to get better and whatnot?
So being part of a team. So I said I was approaching burnout. Last year, November, I took the entire month off. And then I got on with Da Vinci. So that for sure is a huge motivating factor. Not that this is a team sport. So, it's still self-performance always. But I really needed that. And what's driving me the most now is seeing the improvement. So I went from I was doing PCC completely wrong. Nationals last year, I can't wait till nationals this year. It's going to be I'm a completely different PCC shooter. Movement's better by a lot. And because apparently moving and shooting with a PCC is not as easy as it looks. It moves around on your shoulder. So you have to be more steady than with a pistol. Like that was super shocking. Anything with a PCC, you think, oh, that's easier. False. That is false. And so seeing the improvement is super rewarding. So you just want to get back after it. Like, oh, I'm getting better. Well, I want to get more better. And then shooting with like a good squad and seeing how they shot and you shot, and you're shooting with GMs and you're like, I wasn't crazy far off from them. And I'm getting better. I can keep, I don't know, maybe an M class is in my future. I never even really thought about A class much. And now I'm like, A class is 100% in my future. And, who knows from there. So putting in work and seeing the gains, that's just awesome. And I've seen them before with pistol, but the PCC, I don't know. I feel like I'm growing exponentially more so this year. And it's because I have a range buddy this year. I didn't have one last year. I trained with Jeff Swirl. He's down in Homestead, and he's got he's stupid fast on a Glock. He's got 10 splits on a Glock, no problem. And he is super, super dedicated. He's one of the more dedicated shooters I know, actually, as far as dry fire, and he works at a range. So his range time, I asked him about his ammo situation recently. I was like, I'm like, do you have ammo, a supply, on your persons? He's like, no, I shoot all of it. I get it and I shoot it. And I'm like, okay, that's what I thought, because we'll go to the range and shoot. If we have a bay for the day, we'll shoot 700 rounds that day. We don't do that too often, but it's like, how do you do that? But having somebody to work with. He doesn't shoot PCC, but he's pushing M class and carry optics. So he's like, oh, you'll have a PCC. He's like, that'll be good. We can push each other's speed that way.
He has fabulous hair, doesn't he?
Oh yes, he's extremely fabulous. He does some Cardi B moves. So he'll do a nice sachet down the range, and then just do a couple 10 splits, pop up and drop it like it's hot, and then pop up again. It's a good time.
I can imagine that's a good time.
With the hair.
Oh, always.
I'm pretty sure he has a hair sponsor of some sort. I don't know.
Got to have them hair products, right?
The product, yeah. Absolutely. That's good. I'm honestly, it's kind of hard for me. I've got my group of people who I shoot with on match day all the time, but it's not, and we even have Friday night practices, practices at the club, but it's always sitting down. We're always bullshit instead of actually shooting. So maybe after, we have a major coming up this weekend, so maybe we'll get back on the train of actually training. So
it's kind of interesting because you can all, like in my group, in most people's groups, you have the people who are like, you're right here, then they got the person who's right here, or the guy who's trying to catch you, and then it's always the jumble of mess, and then you're always pushing each other. It's fun that way.
Right. Like, and I'm sorry if they're listening, but I like, so locally, you know, we would smack talk each other like the other PCC people, and one guy's not shooting it anymore, but now, like, so in B class locally, there's like less than a handful of people. But like, I'm gonna take it. I'm taking that. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it used to be you know, like, who knows? But now I'm like, oh no, I'm going in there and I have this confidence and I'm gonna take it. And that's a pretty fun feeling. Or I mean, you don't think about it while you're doing it, but it's just, I don't know, having a little bit of confidence on the range feels good. But
Absolutely.
I will admittedly say that was completely destroyed recently at my last major match, but
it was too hot there. Don't worry about it. It was the heat. Everyone had a bad day.
It's pretty much true. And I was super pumped about that because I thought it was going to handle my competition for me because I do hot yoga. So I do an hour plus of like pretty hardcore like yoga flow in 100 degrees, like full saturation of sweat. And that's like my workouts that I do multiple times a week now. And I'm like, yeah, heat, whatever. Like, I love to sweat. I do this on purpose all the time, this heat. No, apparently that's not true. I think what it has to do with is rest. So, because I even had a day off work. I was the most prepared for Dragons Cup than any other major match this year, or even, I mean, in a long time. I can't remember being this prepared. I even shot the week of. I've had all my majors this year, which I've shot 4 of them. Like, I haven't been able to shoot the week of, and maybe not even the week before. I mean, it's been like 10 days or so before I like pulled the trigger at a major match. No, I even trained and shot that week. When I was training with Jeff, and he's like, this is the fastest I've ever seen you shoot, and shooting well and more accurate, more alpha, faster, more alpha. And I felt so good. But I think I packed a little bit too much in on that one extra day I had off work, and I was constantly going, and I stayed up all night packing on Thursday night, which is something I do on the regular. I'm a night shifter, so sleep is always weird. And I, you know, probably slept a little bit on the plane. I got a normal night's sleep on Friday, like probably like 7 hours. But when it comes down to it, I'm still an entire day behind on sleep. And in that heat, man, my mind was, I mean, there were things that were happening that I just could not explain. I'm like, how on earth am I, like, what is this trigger pull? What is, like, did I really just shoot that instead of that? I mean, I was taking extra shots like crazy, which was something I wasn't doing at all. Like the last match before that, I mean, my shot calling has been so on point. I'm not taking an extra shot unless I needed it. Like every extra shot I pulled in the last match before that, I mean, it was exactly because I needed it, but it was like blowing rounds like crazy. I mean, it was just a mess. But I think the heat scrambled my head. I don't know. What can I say? That and a little bit of exhaustion.
Yeah. Now, because you work nights, are you a day sleeper or like an afternoon, evening sleeper?
Well, for work, I like to get to bed by 9 a.m. and get up around 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. if I'm real tired. Because that's when I would like, when I haven't touched the Guns and Dragons Cup. I just need a break. But like, that's when I'll be getting my dry fire in before work if I'm really pushing. And even for me, if I do 5 minutes, that counts, because I, you know, just touch your gun every day. If I can do that, the discipline aspect of this is by far the hardest for me. I have wicked bad ADHD, and I work nights, so there's like no normal routine of anything. You're constantly like flipping your routine, you know, from a day on to a day off. Like it's just always changing. So probably technically not very healthy in the long run, but but I switch. So like today's my first day off. I woke up at like 2. It's good if I make an appointment to force myself to get up. Okay. Like if I have an obligation, yes, I'm going to crawl out of bed even though I'm exhausted. And then I scheduled something at 10 a.m. tomorrow. So I'll have to get up in the morning and I'll switch. And it's really only because of shooting that I totally switch, because winter matches, you know, they start at somewhere between like 7 and 9 a.m. usually, right? So I mean, and I shoot enough that I am forced to switch schedules. So because it's a daylight sport, generally speaking. So
yeah, that is true.
So I switch, but I'm still a night owl, like all the time.
The only constant is coffee, right? Because people
in Miami, there's colada, which is Cuban coffee. It comes in those little cafecito cups. They're really tiny. There's like some pretty good comedy skits about it where there's like, you know, the comedian Fluffy.
Yeah.
And he's, you know, real big guy, and they serve him a cafecito and he's like, do you see me? Look at this little tiny cup. Like, what is this? Like, oh, well, it's Cuban crack, sir. So careful. You're like, you don't want a full cup of that. And it's mostly because there's sugar in it. So I drink it. I work in, you know, North Cuba. So I get that all night at work. So I love my Cuban crack.
There you go. You're pounding probably not, but one a shift, 2 a shift?
As much as they give me. Really. Like, the gringa loves the cafecito. I'm like I'm the only gringa there. So like, it depends on how much it's made. And that's about how much I drink. So maybe like high end, like 5 or 6 a night. Low end, like 1 or 2. But always some, like somebody always will make it. So that's also why I love my Cuban people.
There you go. Now, so you said you shot Dragons Cup, you shot South Carolina, Area 6. What's the other one I missed? Did you shoot Florida or something?
Yes, I shot the Florida Open.
Oh, okay. That's the themed one, right? Like Frank Garcia's range, right?
Yes, okay. Frank Garcia's range. So usually, Shannon Smith has been doing that, but he's not there anymore. So Frank did something completely different, which was, so instead of being like crazy hard, like make you want to quit shooting kind of hard, it was all open targets with no movers and no steel.
Sounds like a hose fest.
It was a hose fest. Actually, Dragons Cup was the first. Well, South Carolina wasn't a hose fest. But Dragons Cup was so much harder than everything all year so far. But like a lot of the matches, and not matches even I've gone to, you know, they're like, yep, hose fest. And shooting PCC, I mean, the idea is to go super fast, you know, it's like full throttle all the time. And so when I'm learning how to actually play that sport, some hosiery is good, because it's like you got to be able to do it. You got to be able to push. You got to be able to get some splits and go and move fast. So some of that, like the Florida Open was actually a good learning experience. That, and I haven't trained with him, but I've shot with him. I shot with Tom Castro for the Florida Open. And he's on point. Like, first of all, he's working super hard at like everything to do with shooting, getting in shape, in training, and he's killing it. I mean, he been winning a lot. He won the Florida Open, and getting to see him and his mindset, you know, like going into it, be like, I'm like, oh, you know, something about like high lady or something. He's super intense. He said, you know, he's like, I don't care who's shooting this match. He's like, I do not care even a little, and neither should you. He's like, you go out there and you go get alpha, you know, and you push. And it was a very heavy like push match too. So it was a good, I learned a lot, and it was good to push through. However, I don't think I'll be going back there. I mean, maybe I will because I like shooting so much, but the day, like the week before. So of course I signed up for that match to shoot with friends, and sure enough, they just switched the squads around without asking. They sent an email and said, or the match director sent an email and said, you know, hey, would anybody mind shooting? And then like, what do you know? So I read the email, and then I check my squad, and it's completely disassembled. I'm like, no. That I was like so upset before I got there that, I mean, I don't know. I was ready to say, you know, like, you can just withdraw me from the match and I'll go home. Like, because this is, you know, not what we pay for. But Steve Zug was the range master, and he took care of it. So completely reassembled our squad. You know, I was in Florida and I was upset. Like, I had friends from Massachusetts coming down that I was going to shoot with. So they were definitely upset. But I don't know, like, understanding that was something that maybe that, you know, the owner insisted on or something. So it was a good match. It wasn't the old Florida Open, which is fine. Hose Fest can be fun too, but I don't know if that's how you respect your shooters. I don't like that. I don't know. Maybe I can give it a second go. It's hard to pass up a level 2 match that's in your state.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's very difficult, right?
Right. Like, extremely painful not to do that. But I don't know. I would like to go to Puerto Rico next year. Would be pretty awesome. That Caribbean Open sounds pretty cool.
That does sound pretty cool. I don't know about next year necessarily, but maybe the year after is going. It looks good. It looks like the award ceremony was cool. Paella for days, I guess.
Ooh. Oh, now it's totally sold.
Exactly, right? And then you just got to be JJ and change all your hats and your shirts so you get more food.
Oh my gosh, I never thought of that. I could definitely do that. Although I feel like I put everything together pretty on purpose, but I've done that to buy ammo at like, you know, let's see, you know, a big ammo or big like outdoor shop. And I've definitely like went in with a hat and glasses and then took them off, and then went back in and bought more ammo. And I went in with a dog too. And then, yeah, I went in 3 times. So first time was like hat and glasses. Next time was with the dog. And the next time was without a dog. So I got 3 purchases of ammo in. And I switched counters, of course, you know,
Yeah, you can't just be the person who's like, yeah, I'll just blatantly go to the same person.
No. I even like try and throw an extra box, like they're not going to count them. They're like, ma'am, you can only get this much. I'm like, oh, okay.
At least they had it on the shelves though.
Right.
But speaking of ammo, you recently got signed with John at Outdoor Dynamics.
Yes.
How has that been going for you with your PCC and all that?
Well, I've been shooting factory like always, pretty much, unless I like the random time where like I maybe like get on somebody's press or something, or somebody hooks me up with something. But it's been he's a total godsend. John's amazing, and the ammo's great. What was super special about this is that, you know, he didn't have any, I don't know if he has PCC shooters, but he didn't have a PCC round. And I was talking with him, and I'm like, hey, you know, like I'm shooting PCC, and we developed one. We developed a PCC round It runs great. All his ammo actually runs through the Da Vinci good, but to shoot like something that's like, if I'm shooting factory ammo out of the PCC, I'm looking at like, I've had as high as like 168 power factor.
Only that high?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I know it's a long gun, but it makes a difference.
Oh yeah.
And now with John, I'm down to like one. At Dragons, I was 136.5, and it runs great, and he's fantastic. Between Da Vinci, Outdoor Dynamics, and Hunter's HD Gold, I can honestly say I have to be working with the best customer service in the business, hands down. None of them are like crazy huge companies, so I think that gives them the ability to do that, versus, you know, I don't know if like the federal or like JP person's gonna give you like, or be able to give you like that same customer service, but like you know, John will ship my ammo to Dragon's Cup without me asking, so that's pretty incredible. But the ammo's great, super reliable. I haven't had any problems with it, and it's a huge level up, and it's a really good company. And his wife is awesome also. It was great to meet them when I went to the Carolinas. So.
And the dog, right? Everyone likes the dog.
I haven't met his dog.
What? Rob got to meet the dog. Matt Hempel got to meet the dog.
Oh my gosh, I'm totally robbed. I did meet his kid though. But I really like dogs too, so.
I mean, honestly, as humans, we don't deserve dogs. Dogs are just too good to us.
Yes.
And they're just too adorable. Even the little yappy ones, they're cute.
I have one of those. She's fierce though, man. Like that dog, I just posted a video and it was some like pit bull, like the guy walks in with a mask and it freaking jumps out the window. It's so terrified. I'm like, dude, my little dog would not back down. She does not know the fear of death at all. In fact, I just let her out the other day and there was this giant cat. I thought it was a bobcat, honestly. It was so big. And it was just happened to be in the backyard. We have a super high, or I have a super high metal fence. So like not climbable. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, my little dog runs out there. I'm like, oh no. Like, and the cat can't clear this like freaking 8-foot fence. And so it's like, and then goes down. And so BB's chasing, and then finally that cat turned around and my dog's just screaming like actual screams, but still going after it and fighting it. I'm like, no. And finally the cat like ninja'd out of the, like climbed a tree and then jumped over the fence. But anyways, the little dog is fierce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can definitely tell. My female is a lot more feisty than my male. My male will just like lay down, is like, just pet me. Just you over there, just come over here and pet me. I don't care.
My boy's like that too. Except he doesn't care if you pet him. He's just like, I'll do my own thing. I don't need anybody except for my mom.
Yep, exactly. That's how they are usually. That's how the dogs are so good. Everyone needs a dog. And then we need range dogs. Dogs that are on the range that you can pet at the range.
Yeah, my dogs are not those dogs. They're on the range for a little bit in South Carolina because I had them. But they're terrified of gunfire. But they're both adopted, so I couldn't break them in. They came terrified. Mm-hmm. The big one's like super traumatized from something awful he went through, and he always has been. He's way better now, but even when I opened a gun box, he ran away. At his first exposure into a gun, it's kind of crazy. I'm like, oh wow, like how does he know this is a gun? It's like, oh, he went through something. So
yeah, that was the one issue. Not it's not an issue, but when you you adopt a dog from somebody or someplace, you don't know exactly what they've been through. Like, my female, she's always like afraid that I'm gonna hit her. Like if I raise my arm up or something,
Oh no.
she knows that I love her and I won't hit her, but she always has that jump back. It's like get
Right.
over it event. But you never, like I said, you never know exactly what kind of family they come from, fortunately.
Yes.
So what matches are you still, besides nationals in Colorado, what matches are you looking forward to this year?
So a fun one, I shot it for the first time last year, and I'll be shooting PC. I shot production last year, and then I'll be shooting PCC this year. Is Doc Welts in Florida, over at the WAC. And Dan Bernard's usually the RM for that one. They run a good match. So you get to like swing from ropes and maybe like walk on planks and do some fun stuff like that. And there's even, I don't know if they'll do it this year, but you can do this like ice challenge where you like dunk, like submerge yourself in a bucket of ice, because it's for this, it's in remembrance of this SF guy that used to shoot there. So I don't know, maybe I'll do that. I definitely, I'm always the first to shoot, so I don't know if I can dunk myself, get soaking wet, and then just accept like however hindrance it might hinder me going to shoot. I don't know if it'll be worth it, but they were giving out primers and things like that. Of course, I don't need primers because I don't reload, so there's that, but somebody probably would. Still high market item, we'll see. So there's Doc Well, that'll just be something fun. And then Trident in Maine, the state match. And I think after that, Area 8, I am so looking for like a rematch at that one. That was like probably my worst match ever, like ever. So there's that. And then, I'm going to New Mexico. I've never shot New Mexico. There's a Badlands, New Mexico sectional or state, something like that. I don't know if I can even name a New Mexico shooter off the top of my head. So
Tim Herron.
Oh, I don't think I know him. But
No, Tim Herron, the short one.
Oh, Tim Herron. Oh, okay. Sure. Okay. I didn't know he was from there.
Yeah, he is originally from Kansas City, but he lives in Albuquerque.
Okay. Of course, it's the same weekend of Carry Optics Nationals, but I don't shoot Carry Optics, so that's fine. And then, gosh, I think then it's national. So there is the North Carolina Classic, and that's in September, but it's the weekend after
New Mexico,
and I have a problem with squeezing a lot in. I would be probably driving, like Miami's far from everything. Like it takes like 8 hours to leave the freaking state of Florida from Miami.
You got to think about it. You're all the way down there where you're right next to the Keys, so you can go to the Caribbean, but you got to go all the way.
To go anywhere, anywhere, you got to go all the way up. So I would like to go. Outdoor Dynamics is sponsoring that match. And it's a fun match. It's the half-day schedule. So you shoot 10 stages in an afternoon, and that's pretty fun. And and they have multiple types of course: fire, long course, short course, medium course. So that's a good time. But I don't know if I'm gonna make it. We'll see. I don't know. I want to plan some time off work, and at some point I can't work. I keep on extending my contract where I'm at because the manager works on my schedule so I can shoot things. But I would like to try shooting some stuff without having to work all week sometime would be nice. I don't know. I just can't get right. We'll see if I can get it figured out like the rest and shooting thing. It's still such a big struggle, but it'd be better if I did day shift at one point. I don't know. That seems like an awful thing to do. I did pull that contract. I did a day shift contract for the first time my whole career. In 13 years of nursing, I did day shift. for 13 weeks. And it was okay, but I certainly didn't dry fire before work or do anything before work when you're getting up at 5 a.m. or earlier. And then you're too tired when you come home. So I don't know what works best for me. A mid shift would be nice, but and then it's nationals, and I don't have anything planned after that. However, I have never shot Area 2 or in Arizona. And that would be like two birds with one stone. My girl Jess Morrow just moved out to California, and I miss her already. So I'm sure she'll be at Area 2.
Yeah, she's behind enemy lines though. I mean, she's in California.
It's true. It's true. I did bring guns to California and shoot there once, just a local, in LA somewhere. Like John Batista in Chain. Or no. It's King. I forget his last name. I think it's Chain. Yeah. And that was fun, but I don't know. I've never traveled with tons of. I definitely haven't brought a PZC into California before. I'm sure it's fine, but maybe it isn't.
They just more care that if whatever you bring, you take out with you, this kind of thing.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you can have them here. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Don't give them to our locals. They can't have them.
Right.
But I mean, you still see people shooting open in California, so it's not like the end of the world.
Well, it's so funny because when I did shoot there, I shot production, like 0 production shooters. Everybody shooting Big Mag divisions. So it's just California's. I mean, it's a god awful state for all their laws and everything, but it's as far as like legally scary wise with guns, it's not nearly as scary as the Northeast. New Hampshire, once you get in New Hampshire, you're fine, but between West Virginia, or even, I mean, I technically can't even carry a gun in Pennsylvania, so even Pennsylvania, but once you get to like New Jersey, oh man, it's bad. New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, Delaware, it's all like bad news. So
Yeah, we just need to annex them. They can be their own little country.
Yeah, I can't believe how many people are. I've met so many shooters from New Jersey lately, and I'm just like, how do you live there? I'm like, I don't even understand. But there's tons of people and tons of shooters that live there.
It's not like you choose. It's not like they choose Jersey. Jersey chooses them.
Yeah, I guess so.
When some people were smart and got out.
Yes.
Like Bill Duda, he was smart. He moved to Maryland.
Oh my gosh.
All right, let's see. So we're talking about your schedule for this year. That looks pretty exciting and fun. I had to back out of Maine. I was glad I backed out early.
Oh no, that'll be a good one. They put some good stages on.
Yeah.
I shot it 2 years ago. I didn't shoot it last year, but they've made more bays. And it's a charity match, so that's what makes it's charity match for veterans. So it makes it I don't know, I love a charity match. It's special. You know, you're like, you know, your money's going towards something like awesome, not just shooting like normal. And like I'm sure like they got so many sponsors, the raffle situation is going to be pretty serious there.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, I was lucky. I'm glad to pull that one I did, I guess, because it was like prices started to go up, and I'm like, yeah, making a vacation out of this Maine trip is going to be hard. So we was like, nope, we'll just cancel the trip. But now I'm gonna staff Area 5, which is at my home club. So I get to see all the best shooters around the country.
How's that?
Shoot.
How's Area 5? Have you shot it before?
I have not shared Area 5 because every time since I've started shooting, Area 5 was in Kentucky. I just didn't have the time to go down to Kentucky. But we're hosting Area 5 at Brooklyn Sportsman's Club for this year and next year. So it'll be pretty cool.
Where's that at?
Brooklyn Sportsman's Club is about an hour from Detroit.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yep. So far we've got like Casey, Jesse, Max, Michelle, Travis. Um, Leighton's gonna be there. A couple of guys from Team Infinity. Tom Castro's gonna be there. So there's a bunch of people coming out. John Batista's gonna be there.
Oh, nice.
I gotta make fun of him. Gotta make sure he has enough flashlight light for his food pictures.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh, I love eating with John. He's so my kind of people. I'm like, oh yeah, food pictures, and then you go out and he's like, let's get this and this and this and this. I'm like, food. I love food.
I mean, and who doesn't love going to food after a match? 'Cause that's like the
Oh
best
my
thing.
gosh, I tell you what. Sometimes, well, no, actually, so I swear when I first started shooting, or just depending on where you're at, like people always got to go home or something, or to the family or to the wife or whatever, and I'm just like, can we go eat food, please? Like I am so hungry, and I'll just if I have to, I'll go by myself, but or I mean I do that regularly, but after a match, you love to go do it with your friends. So that's one of the best parts. That's why Dragons Cup was so cool, because they actually had an award ceremony and dinner and stuff like that. So they had a dance floor too. That may have been extremely disappointing for me, because I had so many refusals for anybody to dance with me at all. So I'm like, wow, if I wasn't like a Leo with like a large amount of self-confidence, you might say like it maybe took a kind of big hit tonight with all the no's. Like you can't even pretend to like dance for like a little bit. Like no,
just one song.
just like it could be like halfway over, and then you would satisfy that like requirement.
Yep.
Come out here and sway, please, somebody. No. I'm like, okay, fine. But we already have planned for next year, Marco and I. He's like, okay, we'll get it going better next year. I'm like, okay, plan, deal. I will come back.
Fair enough. Then you got to make sure that all of them will get you look at all the dances, right?
Yeah.
There's no turning down, or if you don't dance with it, there's no prizes.
And you just have to get out on the flow. That's the most important thing.
Right. Well, I heard they had was a whole like banquet, room with really
Yes.
cool belts and things.
The Marriott that it's at is like one of my favorite Marriotts in the country. Go figure. I'm a Marriott girl, and
In the middle of nowhere, Odessa, Texas.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess it's nice because you don't really want to leave out to Odessa, so you might as well stay in the hotel. That was pretty good. Good food, drinks. I like drinks too, so yeah, it's fun.
It is fun.
We need more of that in USPSA. Of course, I really hate how a lot of people that win aren't around. They all like go back. Like I've yet to ever see Max Michelle receive a reward ever. I don't know what's up with that. Like, stick around, man. You won.
Right. Just a little bit.
Like,
Yeah.
or maybe like at least at the national level, stick around. I don't know.
Yeah, because last year, 2020, he won the match. He had his picture taken with the trophy before the match was over, and then was like, "Oh, gotta go."
I don't understand. I think shooters is the best part of shooting.
Right.
Stick around.
Yeah, I get to meet him this year, so that'll be interesting. See him in action.
I shot with him at Area 7 a few years back. I was working and shooting, and my Glock went full auto on a stage, and it was him and like Blake Minguez. I'm trying to think who else was there, but they were like talking about their stage times, and I was like, "Oh, mine was the fastest." Okay, like lowly C-class girl, and then like I had to stop because it was just like, so I had like I don't know, tons of FTSAs. So
Did he should have said, well, you should have had a SIG.
Right. No kidding. It's SIG territory too, New Hampshire. I mean, surrounded. And I would totally shoot a SIG if I'm being honest. Like they're some flat shooting guns.
I just
compared to a Glock, at least, like that's.
Yeah, you got to do a lot more to a Glock to get it shoot flatter than a SIG out of the box.
Oh yeah, especially an X5. That thing runs nice.
That is true. Especially then you put a bunch of gray gun parts in it, and then make it a gray guns gun. Those are pretty cool.
Yep, I've felt some SIG pressure, or with like actually even Devin McManus is now she's shooting an X5 now. Actually, but between Kaylee and Mason and even my friend Luther, he used to shoot Glocks and now he is full SIG. I mean, everybody still carries a Glock, right? Like for the most part, unless you get a like P365, that's pretty sweet too. But everybody will shoot everything, but then when they're packing, chances are it's a Glock. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, it's just how it is.
That's always how it is. No one packs away like a $1,100 SIG or something in their pants. Like you can take this $600 Glock if I had to shoot somebody.
Yeah. Then they'll keep it, right? So
yeah, you'll never get it back. So just hang on before you take it. Can I take my red dot off first? I didn't kill nobody.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So before we end the show, we got to plug the sponsors. Well, and your sponsors are
Da Vinci Machining.
Yep, we got that
Performance
one.
PCC. Outdoor Dynamics. They make all the ammo. I mean, whatever division you got, they got something for, including PCC, which is not something off the top of my head, I can't. I mean, of course, Federal has their PCC round.
I think Ely has one.
Do they? Yeah, I don't know. There's not many. So Outdoor Dynamics has something for you. Check them out. Reliable ammo, runs good. And then Hunter's HD Gold.
Yep. Gotta love Brian.
Yes. He good customer service. I got my rubies at my doorstep on Wednesday before Dragon's Cup. And I shot rubies for the first time. I like them. I was talking to Kinsey about them, and I'm like, oh, do I need to like shoot some with them and get used to them beforehand? She's like, oh no, you need 5 minutes. She's like, I wear them all the time. They're my favorite. Is the favorite. So, and I liked them, especially Dragon's Cup. I mean, with the sun and it's summer now, the rubies with the dot are pretty awesome.
The only time I've looked through a rubies is we're in this. It was weird because there was a range in the woods, like legitimate, like a whole gun club that was covered with trees and everything, and I'm like, these don't look good at all. It's too green. Yeah.
That's where you want your golds for sure.
I'm just too used to golds. I don't know how many pairs of golds, but no, I've got like 6 pairs of golds. There's too many.
Oh, I should reveal something. So Brian, so I'm a free diver, right? So that uses the snorkel mask. Well, I didn't realize, so everything's magnified when you go underwater, right? With a mask. So I'm nearsighted. So all my hunters are prescription. Well, I went on a spearfishing trip and, they'd be pointing out fish to me and I'm like, can't really see it. And I finally was like, do you need prescriptions underwater? And they're like, well, yeah. Can you not see? And I'm like, I guess not. And I'm like, oh, that kind of hurts your fishing game. So Brian actually designed some goggles for me, so he ordered a snorkel mask, and I'm supposed to dive this month, but the weather's been bad, so I haven't been able to try them out yet. So he ordered a mask and he made an insert with prescription Hunter's HD Gold on the inside.
Those are cool.
Try these bad boys out, and I'm going to get to see underwater for the first time ever.
So what happens when a fish swims at your face? Like, do you ever been hit by fish when you're diving?
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm not hit by fish. I mean, like, there's like sharks and stuff too. So those are a little bit more concerning, except I'm not really worried about those unless there's blood in the water, which spearfishing there is. My first experience spearfishing was in the Bahamas, and it was tons and tons of sharks. And it's like, yeah, there's sharks around. And, well, you just gotta have your buddies around to watch your back, and you also be very aware and you shoot it and get it close to you, and don't let it's like the shark's going for the fish, so I don't know, you just got to get the fish close to you and stop moving. I don't know, it's crazy, but sharks are cool. I don't know, you don't worry about the marine life too much in the water. But sharks are definitely a thing. It's mainly you don't want them to take your fish. It's not so much your leg, but your fish.
What's the biggest fish you've speared then?
Not very big. Like well, actually, it was probably the first one I ever shot around all those sharks. I don't know how big it was. It was like, I don't know, enough to make me feel uncomfortable holding it out in front of me. There's no scale. It wasn't huge. I'm a pretty big novice, so we'll see. But my brother's catching killing like 60-pound grouper. So
that's a big old fish.
yeah, wahoo, things like that.
That is pretty cool. Well, Christina, I want to thank you for coming on. This has actually been quite entertaining, and it's been fun. I hope you had fun.
Oh yes.
Exactly. So we'll definitely have to bring you back on when you make A class or whenever you're destroying the world, right?
Yeah.
So thank you.
I'm ready to go. Yeah.
Exactly. So thank you for coming on, and listeners, thank you for checking out this episode of Manny Talks Shooting. Until next time, get out and do the things, and I'll see you on the next one.